biography was listed in Marcos Who's Who in World 2000, 29th edition 2012 USA. Professor Kiran is a recipient of Bharat Excellent Award from Dr. G.V. Krishnamurthy, former Election Commissioner of India for 2 times and recipient of Rashtriya Ratan Award. He also worked as principal of the NBKR Institute of Science and Technology, second oldest private engineering college, Vidyanagar, for 2 years. He has got 18 plus years of teaching experience and working as a professor in the Department of CSE at Sri Vishnu Engineering College for Women, Bhimavaran. His he is the global vice president of WSA, which is World Statistical Data Analysis Research Association. I welcome you, sir. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, madam, for a nice introduction. And it's a privilege to me for being part of International Conference on Science, Engineering and Technological Innovation, which will be conducted today and tomorrow. And I have to thank the director of Research Culture Society, Mr. C.M. Patil, sir, for giving this opportunity. I also thank Kiviri National University, Ukraine, for enabling me to be part of this international conference as a keynote speaker. And as per the suggestions of Mr. C.M. Patil, I have taken a title which is called as Cellular Automata and its applications in bioinformatics. As per the Gartner reports, which was released in the last month, he has identified 10 promising technologies that can disrupt the world. The first technology that was listed is artificial intelligence. And I have taken a technique in artificial intelligence. We call most of the people just try to understand and try to, people are working on the cell automata now. Cell automata is a technique where most of the problems in bioinformatics can be solved by using this cell automata technique. So I have taken this topic and it is organized like this. Madam, can you see my screen?
Yes, the screen is visible, sir.
Okay, ma'am, thank you. Go to the next slide. So I just basically wish to introduce what exactly the strength of cell automata, where exactly cell automata can be used, what will happen if cellular automata is augmented with artificial intelligence and deep learning. Then we try to just understand this, where exactly the cell automata. I have applied and published some Sciendex papers. Cell automata is a technique where it can be called a set of cells and a grid, actually. So what exactly you have in cell automata is, in general, in finite automata, you have a state and you wish to move from one state to other state. Cell automata is a set of cells and a grid where you can move from one state to other state with respect to some rules. So these rules will be crucial in classifying things. And now cell automata, when it was augmented with the deep learning, the classifier accuracy will increase. That's what we will see. What exactly will happen if you introduce cell automata into bioinformatics? What are the open problems in bioinformatics? Why do we need interdisciplinary research? And what will happen if you are performing in interdisciplinary areas where you are going to apply a deep learning and computer science technique into some other area of called as bioinformatics? And what is the significance? Who will use this research? Because who are the end users of this research that we will discuss? As I said, when we consider a DNA sequence as a terms of Ds and Gs and AGCTs, the input will be in the form of AGCTs. When that input was taken, when you wish to find out most important problems in bioinformatics, like what is the disease causing gene, whether it is inherited from your father or mother. If you have 6 fingers in the hand, what is the reason for that? So if you have the history of diseases, are like I have given a set of symptoms and somebody asked me what can be the disease that is attributed these symptoms, obviously you have an innate classifier, we call it as mycin, which can tell the possible disease. So if you have the history of the diseases that you are getting for the last at least 3 years, obviously your cell automata is a very good classifier which can predict what can happen in future also. So even we have many classifiers which are working with cell automata and deep learning to predict the type of cancers you are prone in future. So if I wish to introduce cell automata is a set of cells in a grid, and the most important part of cell automata when you combine with deep learning is this type of rules. You need to create neighborhood, something like if most of the people who are listening to this know about Tesla. Tesla is an automatic car which can without driver it can move. So when it is moving from one place to other place, it has to depend upon the left neighbor, right neighbor, as well as the front and back. So it has to consider 4 neighbors. So while coming to the research that we have in bioinformatics, every time when you take a DNA sequence or protein sequence, it will be having 3 neighbors. So sometimes what is that we have to do is we have to consider 3 neighbors. Sometimes we need to consider 4 neighbors. It depends upon the application. So when you consider general level of cellular automata, when you wish to move from one state to other state, it has to depend upon the left neighbor. Sometimes it has to depend upon the right neighbor. It has to depend upon its own state also. This is a general format where when people who are aspiring to pursue research or pursue PhD in the area of artificial intelligence, most of the people are taking up this project. Even last time when I was to IIT Madras, almost 6 PhD scholars are working on cell automata and integration towards deep learning. So it is the need of the hour, and people are focusing their work on deep learning now. Cell automata and deep learning, if you augment both of them, you're getting a very versatile and robust classifiers. So it is about when the cell automata is invented, how people has used the cell automata in various aspects, how many types of cell automata is there, what are the strengths of a hybrid cell automata, what is a nonlinear cell automata. This is what the discussion that will happen. Based on the particular problem, you can choose the particular cell automata, and then you can augment this deep learning models, whether it is RNA or whether it is CNN or an RNN and LSTM. It depends upon how do you understand the problem and what type of domain do you have. So the important thing in cell automata is the rule selection is very important, and it also depends upon it is an innate classifier, so it can learn from unseen cases. That's what the strength of cell automata. So when you wish to work on cell automata, the basic thing that you need to understand here is no cell will have the overall view of the entire structure. So obviously when two cells communicate, obviously if I say it is a 3 neighborhood cellular automata, this 3 and this 3 will have a 6 cellular automata structure, where these cells will have its own structure. But the overall structure, this is the most important thing that we have in cellular automata. No cell will have the global view. What is happening though? How this parallelism can happen? All this, it's very difficult for somebody who is coming from outside to predict, which will give more security for this cellular automata. So I said we have taken a potential problem, or we have identified some problems in bioinformatics, and then we try to apply our computer techniques on that problems. And when we are searching for open problems which needs more versatility and more accuracy, we found problems like how do you identify the protein coding regions, how do you identify the promoter regions, and how do you identify the structure of protein. All these things are open problems. Even though there are many classifiers that are available, still there is a room for improvement. That's what we feel. And we started working on how do you analyze and how do you understand DNA sequence and how do you identify the protein coding region. Then we try to apply this our computer technique called as cell automata and deep learning on various problems of bioinformatics. The entire theme of my presentation is we started finding a classifier for each problem. By the end of the day, we have found a common platform where most of the applications of bioinformatics can be solved by using this platform. That is the reason this platform was published by 2 scientific journals, 2 different platforms we have identified and we have developed. so that most of the common problems in bioinformatics can be applied on these two problems. And in general, if somebody asks me what is the time you have taken to identify whether a sequence is protein coding region or not, it is 0.07 nanoseconds. So we try to have a common platform, because the challenge of the research is more like, cell itself is the minute part of your body. In your cell, you have a DNA. In the DNA, you have a GNA sequence, and protein coding region exists in these exons. These exons will be the minor part of the DNAs. This is what the structure is. So the complexity of the project is we need to identify some region which was located in exon, and I say exon is the minute part or minor part of your DNA. This interns will be the major part. So the challenge is, like when you take a DNA sequence in the morning, like you could see the DNA sequence will be like this. The sequence neighbors will change. At this moment, I can say the neighbors of T are G and G, but some point of time, after some time, the neighbors will change if the properties will remain same. So the challenge of the research when we try to apply our research in bioinformatics is the DNA sequence length will change. See, if I take a kid of 3 years old, the DNA sequence length will be 54. A grown adult will have 354 and to 556. So you need to have a classifier which can handle different lengths of DNA sequences. Apart from that, this classifier has to predict something, because every time the input is dynamic, and it has to predict the neighbors. So the problem is very complex in the terms of you are going to identify something which is a minute part of your body. Apart from that, the dynamic change of your neighbors and the different lines of input that we have identified are the potential things that somebody wish to apply this apply computer technique on bioinformatics. So then the second problem that we have identified as an open problem bioinformatics, how do you identify the promoter region? So what will happen if you identify a promoter region is you can find whether the person is prone to some cancer or not. If he is prone to some cancer, what type of cancers you can get? So what is that we have done is we try to have a common classifier which can predict this protein coding regions as well as promoter regions with less time. Like PCR, we have identified with 0.7 nanoseconds, and PR we have identified with 0.8 nanoseconds. So together, what is that? Our intention is we need to have a common platform where most of the open problems in bioinformatics can be addressed by computer techniques, and it has to be done faster. So what is our task of computer science department is to identify the promoter region, and the bioinformatics department, they will analyze and they will tell you what type of cancers you can get, what type of is it a breast cancer, or is it a bone cancer, or is it other type of cancers that you can get. And this is what our subset or our domain is, to take the input, process the input, and identify whether this protein coding region exists in this DNA sequence or not. So for that, we have also done a very important literature survey, where what type of classifiers are there, and how our classifier can be versatile, adaptable, and robust. So some people, I can say that I have a classifier accuracy of 98, but nobody can use sometimes. It is not reliable and it is not dependable. But that is the reason we have started our web server to benchmark. So this web server is there for the last 3 years. The web server, if you give a DNA sequence, it tries to predict promoter region, protein coding region, and it also predicts the structure of the protein. These three very important problems in bioinformatics are identified, and we have addressed this by using our AI technique. That technique we call it as cell automata with deep learning. So if you identify the structure of protein, you can extract a lot of information, like how can a doctor can prescribe medicines without side effects? How can one cell is going to control other cells? And most of the inherent or most of the innate structure of the body can be understood only by this structure of protein, whether it is a secondary structure or a quaternary structure. So the important observation I kept this slide intentional is, like, when we try to go for interdisciplinary research, we need to identify the logic among all the problems, and we have successfully found a platform where all these problems can be addressed by a single classifier. This is what a novel thing that we have done. And now we are trying to identify more problems in bioinformatics, like how do you identify the structure of RNA, which will be helpful for identifying many other diseases. So the intention of having this discussion domain here is, how can we apply, because AI is everywhere. We are living with in an AI world. So obviously I wish to take a session on how can AI can be applied in bioinformatics. My earlier research was how AI is used for weather prediction, where that was a sponsored project by DST for 30 lakhs. We have done it, and I have published 3 papers, and 1 paper was in Scientix journal. So once I complete that weather prediction and the stock market prediction, I was working in this area so that the output of this research can be useful for the society purpose. That is the reason we have given the output of this entire project to WHO, so that they can give their comments, so that this can be used by so many people. So for developing this type of innate classifiers that we have done, we have developed many other classifiers like artificial immune system, multiple attractor, cellular meter. The target is to identify PCR. The second classifier identify PR. The third classifier is an integrated classifier which can identify both of them. We have identified different classifiers, and we have combined them with a common architecture, so that most of the problems in bioinformatics can be done, because this bioinformatics problem has to be ratified by a human expert. See, if I say my system will supplement or suggest or will help the doctors to prescribe some medicines without any side effects, that has to be approved not only by the system, by the human expert. The doctors has to approve that this is giving a good advice, and we will take that. So all these are very important. The entire strength that I wish to give within 15 minutes, as per our director CM Patel sir told me, is it is the way in which we need to go for interdisciplinary research, because this conference mainly focuses on science, engineering, and technological inventions. The last part I'm just focusing on how do you go for a technological invention for many social applications. This is what my presentation is. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a wonderful and informative presentation. And we understand the significance of such a renowned work on RNA, DNA, bioinformatics, and cellular automata at present. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, before I introduce our next speaker, it would be a great honor for me to launch a book published by Research Culture Society in Publication on data cleaning, the statistical and numerical inference by Dr. Sanjay Gaur and Dr.